Hello, students. Today we are going to start the same chapter 11 Political Developments, the Gupta period 8320 to 8540. The topic which we are going to start today is Harshvardhana. Harshvardhana, 8606 to 8647. A lot of information about him and his times can be found in Harsha Charita. Harsha Charita is a biography written in Sanskrit by his court poet Bhanabhatta. He wrote a biography. Biography is an account of someone's life written by someone else. So the other is account of Hyun Tsang. He was a Chinese visitor who visited India during his period only. He became king at the age of 16. In AD 606, he was just the age of 16 when he became the king. He moved his capital from Thaneshwar to Kannauj. Immediately after ascending the throne, when the throne was given to him, he marched against the gods of Bengal. He entered into an alliance with Bhaskar Varman, the king of Pragjyotisha, means Assam. So what happens? I told you that Harsha Charitra is a biography written in Sanskrit by his poet Bhanabhatta. They tell us about Hyun Tsang. He was a Chinese visitor who visited India during his period. He became king at the age of 16. 8606, moved his capital from Thaneshwar to Kannauj. He marched against the gods of Bengal, entered into an alliance. Alliance means he joined hand for benefits with Bhaskar Varman. He was the king of Pragjyotisha, Assam. After the conquered means after taking control of many parts of the northern India, including Punjab, eastern Rajasthan, Ganga Valley, as far as Assam, his empire included the territories of feudal kings. Feudal kings, beta, feudal means the kings where all the lands in the kingdom are owned by the king only. The king decides whom he will give the land. So those are called the feudal kings, whose all the lands are owned by the kings only. They decide whom they will give the land. This is Mahayana Buddhist rite during Harshvardhan times. He governed his empire on the same lines of Guptas. Same process he followed. Kingdoms paid him revenue. Same. His ambition was to extend his power to Deccan and southern India. He wanted to extend his power to Deccan and southern India, and he was stopped by Pulkishan II, the Chalukya king of Vatapi, who defeated him. So Harsha's ambition was he wanted to extend the power to Deccan and southern India. He was stopped by Pulkishan II, the Chalukya king of Vatapi. He defeated him. Harsha was a great patron. He was great at art and learning. He wrote 3 plays in Sanskrit: Ratnavali, Priyadarshika, and Nagananda. So in Sanskrit, he wrote these 3 plays: Ratnavali, Priyadarshika, and Nagananda. He provided financial support to Nalanda University. It was under his financial support this Nalanda prospered. Prospered means it became very famous. It prospered. Growth of Nalanda University at his time. It became a very famous center of learning during Harshvardhan times. He organized the 5th Buddhist Council at Kannauj at AD 641, where the teachings of Mahayana Buddhism it was discussed, and the assembly continued for 18 days and it was attended by 3,000 monks. So 5th Buddhist Council attended at Kannauj in AD 641, where the teachings of Mahayana Buddhism was taught. They were discussed. 18 days this assembly goes on, continued, and it was attended by 3,000 monks. Hyun Tsang account. He visited India in AD 630, stayed in India for 15 years. He came as a student in the Nalanda University. Okay, he wanted to study at Nalanda University, so he came here. During his stay, he became a very good friend of Harsha, spent 18 years at Harshvardhan's court. He spent 18 years. He compiled his work in a book titled Siyuki, which means Record of Western World. Okay, his all the records are in the book Siyuki. It is in the records of Western world. The book gives us a detailed information about the administration, social economic life of the people at Harshvardhan time. Agriculture was the main occupation. Traders, craftsmen, they used to live in the towns. The peoples were very simple, honest. They used to live peacefully. People were vegetarian. They don't used to eat onion and garlic. They used to avoid in their food. He also notes there was a rigid caste system, a fixed caste system. Okay, the various caste and subcaste were divided. Lower caste, upper caste people were divided. Untouchables were not treated well by the upper caste. Okay, they used to treat the lower caste people very badly. The lower caste people, the untouchables, they used to live outside the city. The whole empire was divided into provinces. Provinces means bhuktis. The provinces were divided into districts, vishayas, and the district into villages. So revenue officials, they used to collect the revenue at one-sixth of the produce. Whatever the agriculture is produced, one-sixth of that you have to give as a way of tax. He organized religious assemblies also every 5 years at Prayag. Okay, he used to organize religious assemblies. These assemblies were called to have debates and religious discussions. So they used to debate in these assemblies and religious discussions were there. These assemblies were attended by various monks, priests, scholars of different regions. Harsha was a very capable and tolerant ruler of his time. There was prosperity within his empire. The kingdom prospered, means great growth of the kingdom was there at his time. When he died, when your Harsha died, North India was again thrown in the state of disorder. Again, disorder came. Okay. Meanwhile, the Deccan and the South India rose to power and glory. So after Harsha's death, Deccan and South India, it rose to power and glory, and North India, it was in state of disorder. Okay, it was divided into smaller kingdoms at that time. Then came the Chalukyas. They came into power in the 6th century AD. Capital was Vatapi or Badami. Pulkishan I was the founder of the dynasty Chalukyas. The Chalukyas ruled mainly over the Deccan region and the power was extended to north. They were sworn enemies of the Pallavas. Okay. They don't used to like Pallavas. They were enemies of Pallavas. Aihole, the earliest capital of Chalukyas, Aihole became the earliest capital of Chalukyas, and Aihole became the trading center also. It developed as a religious center. Aihole is a territory where number of temples were there. It became the capital also, a trading center also for Chalukyas. They used to rule from Vatapi, which were in the power in northern Karnataka from the 6th century until 757 AD. They ruled there. Then Pulkishan I and Pulkishan II came. Chalukyas only. Pulkishan I was the first ruler of Chalukya dynasty. He founded Vatapi, made it its capital. He is said to have performed an Ashwamedha Yajna he used to perform. His kingdom was further extended by his two sons, Kirtivarman and Mangalesa. These two sons expanded his kingdom. Then Pulkishan II came. He was son of Kirtivarman. He was the greatest ruler of Chalukya dynasty. He ruled for 34 years. Prashasti, composed by poet Ravi Kirti, tell us about Pulkishan II. According to Ravi Kirti, okay, Prashasti, he praised about him a lot. He wrote that he led expeditions along the west and east coast. He defeated Harsha. He also attacked the Pallava king, who took shelter behind the walls of Kanchipuram. So Pallava's king, he took a shelter behind the Kanchipuram. They went there. He defeated Harsha. Then he defeated Pallavas also. He attacked him. During his empire, he acquired many large parts of Deccan from the bank of the Narmada river. He went beyond the Kaveri river also. His greatest achievement was the war against Harshvardhana in 620 AD. In AD 641, the Hyun Tusang visited his kingdom. He said that the king was served by his nobles with perfect loyalty. Means the persons who are present in Pulkishan's second kingdom, the persons who are serving him, they were very loyal towards him. So his greatest victory was war against Harshvardhana in 620. The last days were not happy of him. He was defeated by and killed by a Pallava king only, Narasimhavarman. In AD 642, he killed Pulchkeshin II. His capital Vatapi completely destroyed. After his death, Chalukya power also declined. The later rulers, means after him, many rulers came, but they failed. Finally, Rashtrakutas ended the rule of Chalukyas. Finally, the Rashtrakutas ended the rule of the Chalukyas. Now we are talking about the Pallavas. The Pallava king ruled from Kanchipuram near Chennai. When the Pulkeshin ruled over the Deccan, Harsha ruled over the North India, Pallavas and Pandyas were the most powerful rulers in the South India. Mahendravarman I and Narasimhavarman I were the greatest rulers of the Pallava dynasty. Mahendravarman I, AD 600 to 630, he was contemporary of Harshvardhana and Pulkeshin II. He fought against Pulkeshin II but was defeated. Finally, Narasimha I, AD 630 to 668, means Narasimhavarman I, AD 630 to 668, he defeated Chalukyan king and captured Vatapi. So Mahendravarman, he was contemporary of your Harshvardhana and Pulkeshin II. Okay. But what happened when he fought against them? He was finally defeated. Narasimha I defeated the Chalukyan king and captured Vatapi. He took the title of Vatapi Konda, means the conqueror of Vatapi. Narasimhavarman I also led successful expeditions, means Narasimhavarman, or I would say Narasimhavarman I, he also had a successful expeditions to Sri Lanka. Okay, he went to Sri Lanka also, and however, continuous military conflicts used to be there. So, continuous military conflicts, it weakened the Pallavas. They used to have a military conflicts. They used to fight over many things. So, Narasimhavarman, successful expeditions means they used to go on a journey for some specific purpose to Sri Lanka, and they were having military conflicts that weakened their system. Towards the end of the 9th century, the Cholas defeated the Pallavas and their rule came to an end. It is the Vishnu 8th century during the Pallava period. Art and architecture. Yantasang visited Kanchi in AD 642. He described the Pallava country as more than 1,000 miles in area and called it Dravida Nadu. Okay, Dravida Nadu. So there were 100 vihars, 10,000 Buddhist monks, patrons of sculptures, architectures, beautiful temples, Rath temples at Mahabalipuram, best example of their architecture. Shore temple at Mahabalipuram. It comprises of 3 shrines, 2 dedicated to Shiva and 1 dedicated to Vishnu. Kailasnath temple at Kanchi, it also built by Pallavas. Followers of Jainism religion. Mahendravarman I, he was follower of Jainism. He became a worshipper of Shiva. He used to worship Shiva. Saint Appar, he was influenced by Saint Appar. Appar is a name. The worship of Vishnu was popularized by Tamil saint called Alvars. Alvars popularized Vishnu worship in South. The Pallava rulers, they were patron of learning. Bharavi, a Sanskrit poet, he was invited to the court of Pallava ruler Simha Vishnu in AD 575 to AD 600. Dandi, the author of Kavya Darsha, lived in the regime of Narasimha II. Bhakti movement was also popularized. Nayanar, Alvar saints, by Alvar saints, Bhakti movement was popularized. Nayanars, they were devoted of Shiva god, and Alvars, they were devotees of Vishnu god. They traveled from place to place, sang the hymns in praise of the god. The hymns were written in Tamil, the language of the common people. So, arc and architecture, if I talk about, so Pallavas, more than 1,000 miles their country. So, Hemant Singh called it Drivadanadu. 100 vihars, 10,000 monks, Buddhist monks. Sculptures and architecture, they were great at. Rath temple at Mahabalipuram, Shore temple at Mahabalipuram, Kailashnath temple at Kanchi, beautiful examples. This show temple has 3 shrines, 2 for Shiva and 1 dedicated to Vishnu. They were following Jain religion, okay, worshipper of Shiva. They were doing under the influence of Saint Appar. Vishnu god was popularized by Tamil Saint Alvars. Bharavi, Sanskrit poet, he invited his court by the Pallava ruler Simha Vishnu. Dandi, he was author of Kavya Darsha book, and Bhakti movement was also popularized by Nayanar and Alvar saints. They traveled from place to place, singing the hymns of the god Vishnu and Shiva in Tamil language. That was the common language of the people. It is Show Temple at Mahabalipuram. The Pallavas' inscription mention a number of local assemblies. The Ur was a village assembly founded in areas where landowners were not Brahmins. The Ur assembly was founded in the areas where the landowners, they were not Brahmins. Nagaram was organization of merchants. These assemblies were controlled by rich and powerful landowners. Nagaram. They were controlled by rich and powerful landowners. These assemblies, they used to function for many centuries. At the same time, 1400 years ago, Prophet Muhammad, he introduced a new religion, Islam. Islam rates tests on supreme one God. Okay, one supreme God is only there. They spread to North America, Spain, Iran, and India. Arab sailors, they were familiar with the coastal settlements of the subcontinent. They brought this new religion, Islam, to India. Islam was a religion that laid stress on equality and unity for all before Allah. Okay, it is a religion. It means that everybody is equal and we should live peacefully and united with each other. Okay, God has made us all one. There is only one supreme God. One Quran is their holy book, sacred book of Islam. In that it is written, for Muslim men and women, for believing men and women, for devout men and women, for true men and women, for men and women who are patient and constant, for men and women who humble themselves, for men and women who are in charity, for men and women who fast, for men and women who guard their chastity. Chastity generally means that they are the ideal couple. They will live together for their whole life. They are not going to separate. And for men and women who engaged much in Allah remembrance. So Allah prepared forgiveness and great reward. So Muslim, they used to tell that men and women, it is for all the men and women who are believing in God. They are true towards themselves. They are patient and constant. They are humble themselves. They are giving charity to people. They are fasting together. They guard their chastity. Chastity means they are devoted to each other. Okay, they are engaged much in Allah remembrance. They are remembering the God. So Allah prepared forgiveness and great reward to those people. It was written in Quran. So this was your chapter. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.